What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm fan service Renji. Yes, I'm back. Renji is back in the lavender.
And I'm Shana Mostella.
Super Shana Mostella.
Super de
Damn,
duper.
it's like 6 p.m. and these birds are still out chirping like it's morning.
These birds don't stop. They'll be chirping from like sun up to sundown, and it doesn't even matter what time it is. They don't get it. They don't get the memo.
Can y'all hear that? Got a couple of the windows open. And I know when I shoot TikTok videos, the birds are definitely in the video. So anyways, these birds are on quarantine. They ain't got no job to go to. So they be chirping all damn night.
They chilling.
Yeah, it'd be nighttime and these birds still going in.
I remember it was like the dead of night. I'm like, wait, do you hear that?
Yeah.
Do you hear that? And it's just like nonstop.
That shit blew my mind. Like, why are these birds still out?
I know.
It makes sense. They ain't got shit to do. People ain't got to go to work. Everyone's on quarantine. They ain't got to wake anybody up. So they ain't got to go to work either.
Exactly.
But anyways, we're not talking about birds this episode, but they've just been chirping all day with everything we've been doing. So we just wanted to share this moment with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted y'all to hear it to verify that we're not crazy and we're just hearing birds. What if there's no birds there at all, right?
What if birds don't even exist?
Ooh,
Oh.
we're just crazy. We're just weeb crazy. Anyways, recent events just got me really thinking about how we all outgrow people in our life. I know when you're younger or you're in high school, you think you're going to be best friends forever. You go to Deb or whatever crappy store you used to shop at and get those little necklaces, those little half-heart necklaces that say BFF. Deb, Rainbow, $10 jeans store.
Right.
They're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
When you're young, you have this fantasy that you're going to be friends with someone forever.
Yeah. Everything seems like forever
Yeah,
in high
it seems
school.
like forever. And then you become adults and you quickly learn that people aren't forever. You end up outgrowing some.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens is some people realize they've outgrown people and they move on. But other people know they've outgrown someone but still stay in that relationship, whatever it is. Friendship, dating, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you guys know I'm originally from this little quiet burb in Michigan. I don't talk about that a lot because I spent some of the most important years of my life in Chicago.
Yeah.
Why I say most important? Because those were the years that my life really changed the way I wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think I'm from Chicago because it played such a vital role in my life. I never mentioned my Michigan life. Why is that? Because I've outgrown a lot of the people I've known from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just get right into it with just some examples, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why I have outgrown a lot of my people from my past. I had bigger visions than just getting a job and surviving in this nice little suburban West Michigan beach town.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my peers and like my family and my parents were even like, oh, you make enough to get your own apartment? Good for you. Life is complete.
Yeah.
Luckily, my dad instilled in me like, oh, hell no. I did not swim across a river, get shot at by communist soldiers so you can get a regular-ass job and live in a one-bedroom apartment.
Mm-hmm.
No, you are going to live the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
So I held on to those values. My parents were refugees that got sponsored and came to America. So my dad reminded me day after day, your life is worth more than just getting by.
Right.
If you wanted to get by, we would live back in Asia and you would climb trees to take shits while the wild dogs would chase you. That's not the life I paved for you. Unfortunately, a lot of my peers didn't have family members that were refugees in Southeast Asia and had to climb trees. They were born in America. So they were just like, you know what? As long as you get by, that was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the biggest thing that hit me. I was not happy enough getting by. I had bigger dreams, bigger goals. They didn't. They were happy working at the local car mirror making factory.
Mm-hmm.
they made $10 an hour, $11 an hour. That was big balling out in West Michigan. You made 11 and more. That's enough to buy a house. Your life is set. Oh yeah, it is set. If you're happy working at a factory where you do this all day, pull a lever, put in a screw. Pull the lever, put in a screw for 8 hours a day. I did that. This was the factory where everyone died to work in. I worked there for 8 months and like, this ain't for me.
Right.
I try to speak my mind to some of my peers, like, dude, there's got to be more to life than this. And they're like, what do you mean? We've made it. We've made it? You mean putting in 2 screws and pulling a lever was what you dreamed as a child? We've made it. Nah, I didn't make it. You may have made it, and that's good for you, but that's not good for me. I had more dreams. I had more ambition. I knew I had more to offer this world. I couldn't settle to work this factory that all my peers worked at now. Half the town that I used to live in work at that factory. Not trying to diss them or throw shade. Some of them are happy. They have houses and families. Good for them. But there are a lot of them that aren't happy, and I know they're not happy. Fast forward to the future, they're looking at me like, oh, man, you're so lucky you're doing this. By them saying that, I know they're not happy. I have someone from my high school. I don't hate him. You know, he's still a good friend, but I don't call him on a weekly basis. I have a handful of people that I talk to on a weekly basis. He's not one of them. I can't even say I talk to him on a 6 months basis.
Right.
When I'm back home, yeah, we're cordial. We talk. Besides that, if I'm not back in Michigan or even Chicago, anywhere close to him, I don't reach out to him. He doesn't reach out to me. I don't hate him, but I've outgrown him. My ambitions were more than him. At first, I tried to talk to him and inspire him to do more, but I've quickly learned sometimes people don't want more, and you got to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Either you let them hold you back from what you want, or you just end up pissing them off by telling them that their life is not good enough.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to leave them alone because what they want isn't exactly maybe not what you see for that person.
Yeah.
And it just kind of brings you down at the same time because you want more for the people that you care about.
That's just the first examples that shoot off in my head. Like, a lot of people ask me, like, how come you don't ever come home to West Michigan and see your friends and family? Because honestly, I spent so much of my life trying to get away from that. Why would I spend my money to go back to that? I love my mom. I love my family. I love my friends, but I've spent most of my life with y'all.
That's exactly how I feel.
You spend your money to come see me. You get to see me, and you get a lovely Southern California vacation. I spend my money, and I go back to Western Michigan to what? Be bored? Go to the same Applebee's I used to hang out at in high school? Like, that's dumb. I feel like I'm taking steps backwards.
Yeah.
We outgrow people for better or for worse. And I just want to take this time to let y'all know that you shouldn't feel bad about it. Before I go deeper, let me throw it to you, Shana. Who have you outgrown in your life and why?
Well, I wouldn't say completely outgrown, but along the lines of what you were just saying about, you know, just being kind of over where you grew up to where you are now.
Yeah.
I have a best friend that I've had since high school. We met in high school. We've been friends ever since. When I moved away to California, I want to say 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been 5 years.
Yep.
To that person, it feels like to them, like I've been gone forever and I've been doing my thing since forever. But to me, every time I go back to where I came from, the Midwest, Chicago, to me, every time I go back there, I kind of just feel like I just left.
Yeah.
I just don't feel the same way that I used to back when I used to be there.
Well, quick note on that. It's when you have things you want to accomplish, time flies by so
It
fast.
does.
Especially here in LA. It's like 5 years just goes by so fast because you're chasing a goal, you're hustling. But for people back in the Midwest, back in their homes, if they're just living their day-to-day life, time's not moving as fast. But anyways,
Exactly.
Sorry to interrupt, but
On that note, it just feels like what you were saying earlier. I've been there my entire life. I've been doing what other people wanted me to do. I did the whole school thing. I did the whole this and that and whatever thing. But I just feel like now that I'm here in LA, I'm finally able to do what I want to do. I've always been making other people happy. I've always been there for other people, but no one in my life has been there for me 100%.
Yeah, yep. Ooh, that hits. That hits.
So when I'm out here and I'm doing my thing, I just feel like I belong here. But like when I was in the Midwest, when I was with these people and my family even, they never encouraged me to be who I really wanted to be. They never cared about what I wanted to do with my life. And that's not to say what my best friend had to think or how she thought of me in that way, but it just, when you've grown up with somebody your whole life or you've been in this one place your whole life, of course you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it just feels better when you can actually step out of that and to be into something and a part of something bigger and better for your life personally.
Yeah, you don't realize how they've become distractions in a way.
Right. Because when it comes to doing what other people wanted me to do, it's like, if that were my life, I would have kids already.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a whole life in that way already. But that's not for me. I don't want kids. I don't want to be held down someplace. Like, I just want to have that freedom to, if I needed to go somewhere to be even deeper into my career, then I can do that.
Yeah, and on that note with kids, I have older siblings that have kids. It's because the place where I'm from, that's what people do.
Yeah.
They hit an age and they have kids. Since people can't think beyond what other people do, they put that on you. They put that on me. Like, oh, your brothers had kids by this time. Why don't you have kids?
And that's exactly what I wanted to step away from because I'm not in anyone's shadow.
Yeah.
I'm not doing what someone else wants me to do. And that's why I kind of had to take a break from my Midwest life. And that's why I really don't want to go back. I mean, except for the food, but you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The food is amazing.
Chicago got some bomb-ass food.
Yeah. But besides that, I just can't see myself being there for longer than maybe a day or two.
Yeah.
And then I'm just back to where I am. But it's not anything personal held against those people that have those kinds of lives. That has nothing to do with that.
But so how has things changed between you and your best friend that makes you feel this way?
I mean, besides me moving across the country, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we still keep in touch. We're still best friends. We're still on the same page as where we left off. But I just feel like I can't be there for that person as I used to be because I don't live there and she doesn't live here. When it comes to, like you said earlier as well, if people want to come see you, or if people want to see you in general, I feel like they should come here because I did live my life over there and I did do all the things that I was supposed to do. And now it's time to come here and have a vacation. Like, you don't want to be reminded of the things that you do all day. So come out here and be a part of something different and just experience a different way of life. Because as my best friend did say herself, it's like when she did come out here and see all the palm trees and the oceans and everything that's out here in California, she's like, you live in a postcard. Like, this is what a postcard looks like, you know?
We live where people vacation.
Exactly.
Like, why wouldn't you want to come here?
Right. Like, I don't feel the need to go back to the Midwest because that's just not my life anymore. And I'm sorry. I don't mean anything personally about it. It's just I haven't lived that life in so long. I have no reason to go back,
Exactly.
you know?
I feel that. When you live in LA, you live in SoCal, you live where people vacation.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you just come here and stay at my place for free and get a vacation?
Exactly. It's a win-win situation.
Not saying all y'all mofos can just come and stay at my place for free. I'm just specifically talking about to the day one homies that want to leave. Like, y'all can come stay, but a lot of y'all new booties on my social media that we ain't really friends like that, no, don't even be asking me to stay here because some of y'all have tried, and I'm throwing all the shade like, oh, we ain't cool like that. So don't even try to ask me to stay here for free. But the day one homies, some of y'all are welcome. You know, we're gonna have to take it on a case-by-case basis, but I ain't trying to go into that right now.
No, but the people that have been there for me since day one, you are more than welcome to come out here and be a part of this because I work too hard for you not to. So I don't want to work this hard and then go back to something that I ran away from, you know?
Exactly. Speaking of best friends, I am sad to say I've outgrown one of my most down best friends. If y'all listened to the last podcast with the room party about my ride or die homie with the crazy killer look in his eye, I'm telling you, this dude used to go with me to all my concerts and performances. He didn't care what he had to do the next day, how far we had to drive. He was down. He recently got married a couple years ago. Not gonna lie, the person he married, I don't like that bitch. We've had bad history.
Nobody does.
We've had bad history throughout high school. We had bad history post high school. Even though I went to his wedding, that girl was still a bitch to me. It's messed up. It really is messed up. During his little wedding ceremony, him and I finally got to get away from his new wife. We were in Vegas. Mm-hmm. Got to walk away to go get some beers just to kick it back in his room. While we walked to go get some beers, I was like, yo, are you sure you want to marry this girl? You know how I feel about her. Mm-hmm. You know I don't like her. I've explained to you the history. He's like, yeah, I know. I know you don't like her, but I love her. And he's like, remember how we had that ride or die card that we could pull at any time? I'm pulling it right now. Mm-hmm. This is me cashing in that day one homie card. Mm-hmm. You need to respect my wife and respect that she's in my life. And he cashed in that get out of jail free card.
You got to respect that shit, though.
Yeah, he cashed in for that. Mm-hmm. Mind you, he's asked me to do some crazy shit. Mm-hmm. Side story. Years and years and years before this girl even came about, he was kind of digging this girl that was in an arranged marriage. Mm-hmm. He found out she hated her fiance. Mm-hmm. Her parents arranged it. It was some like mafia type gangbanger wedding. And this girl did not want anything to do with this guy.
Wow.
He's like, yo, I like this girl. She doesn't want to be this guy. I will pay you to break up their wedding. He wanted me to be the guy that, you know, when the pastor says, does anybody object this wedding? He wanted me to stand up and be like, I do, and break up the wedding and then snatch the wife and throw her in my car and run away.
Oh, wow.
He failed to mention until the very end when I was like, what's the catch? Oh, it's like a mafia wedding and there's a chance you're going to get shot at.
Oh, no.
Dude, no. He's like, but I'll pay you. I'm like, how much?
That's all it comes down to, right?
I mean, everyone has a price. Not going to lie. I was kind of like a little money whore. So I was like, wait, how much? And what kind of mafia? Are we talking like little Italian family that owns a spaghetti restaurant? Are we talking like Godfather? Are we talking Yakuza? Long story short, he couldn't afford what kind of mafia family this was. I was like, hell no, you're going to get me killed.
Right.
You're going to get my whole family erased.
Damn.
But even then, he did not cash in that homie card. Mm-hmm. By this time in our friendship, I had asked him to do some like ridiculous stuff.
Right.
So he could have cashed in at any moment, but he didn't. Fast forward back to the wedding. He saved it for this moment. Mm-hmm. I just had to accept this was who he wanted to marry.
Right.
Oh, and boy, was I so mad. Mm-hmm. I was like, out of all the things, this is what you want? You sure you don't want me to snatch up some other bitch from a wedding? He's like, no, I just want you to respect my wife. Mm-hmm. I was like, you know you got 48 hours to have an annulment. I watched Hangover. I know all this shit. And the funny thing is, speaking of Hangover, he got married at the same chapel that they did in Hangover.
Damn.
We were riding in the limo, and I could not help but be like, hey, did you get the high roller package like in Hangover?
Damn.
I mean, that's my boy, but you can't help but throw shade when your boy got married at the same chapel as in Hangover. And he was like, yeah. That's how I learned about this place was Hangover. I'm like, are you shitting me?
What was the dude's name? Frankie?
Hey, you got the high roller package. No, but he did not get the high roller package because we did not walk away with coffee mugs and T-shirts.
No, he didn't get the whole package.
Nah. But it came to a decision-making point in my life, and I knew our life was going to change. Mm-hmm. We had actually outgrown each other. Mm-hmm. I'm still out here pursuing my goals, my dreams. I'm still trying to work in the entertainment life. I'm out here hustling, making content every day. He's out here ready to settle down and start a family. I couldn't be a part of his world anymore, and he couldn't be a part of mine.
Right.
We were on different paths. And I guess this is my example of how you can outgrow each other, but it doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Right.
We just had different visions for our life. He was ready to settle down. He was not a guy that was in a lot of relationships. He did not have the best luck. Even though he was a good-looking guy, he's probably one of the nicest, greatest guys I know.
Yeah.
I don't give that credit to a lot of people. He was a good, wholesome, respectable man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let him breaking up a wedding fool you. It sounds so messed up when I say
he knew what he wanted, right?
Yeah, he was more trying to save this girl.
Right.
He liked her, but he didn't want her to be in that predicament.
Right.
But he was probably the best man I knew. And he was just ready to start a family. He was tired of dating girls and not going anywhere. And this girl just did it for him. He was even like, yeah, she's a bitch. I know that, but I love her and she loves me. And I want you to respect that. Curses.
Like a thorn in your side.
If I wasn't the Avatar, I'd punch that bitch in the pussy right now. But he cashed in that card, so there was no pussy punching.
We couldn't say anything
No,
about that.
I could not. Even though Shana was there with me. I keep talking about the story like I was there by myself, but Shana was there. It was because of Shana's persuasion that him and I could even go alone.
First of all, Vegas is very hot. Your girl does not do well in hot weather. And I was wearing heels, and I'm like, no. This is not going to happen. I want to stay in the room. So I'm like, you know what? Since they wanted to go, and I think you guys are doing a beer run or whatever. Whatever it was you guys were trying to do. I'm like, you know what? If you guys want to go, like, I can stay here. I really don't want to sweat my outfit out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, turning to his wifey at the time, I'm like, if I stay here, we can stay together. We could just like ride this out together, and they can just go out. And
she was steadily trying to come along too.
Yeah, but I think what really pacified her and what really held her back was the fact that I wasn't going with the guys, because I'm cool with the guys. I will just go alone without a female being there. But since I know these guys are OG friends, they go back way back. I'm like, if I stay here, you want to stay with me just so we can both be in the air conditioning, not sweating outside? Like, you want to do that? We can order Taco Bell or something? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shana definitely took one for the team.
Honestly, I did not want to be in the heat, but I also saw that you guys just wanted to have some quality time. So,
but let's be honest.
I took one for the team.
Let's be honest. You honestly didn't want to be there with her either.
I didn't want to be there with her either, but luckily for me, she didn't want to be with me either. So she was on one side of the hotel room, and thank goodness that this hotel room was a suite.
It was a big ass
suite. It was a big suite. So I was
in the Venetian.
Yeah, at the Venetian, and they had the biggest bathroom that I've ever seen in my life, and they had the biggest bathtub that I've ever seen, and it was kind of like a pool. That's how big it was. So I'm like, you know what? I just kind of want to take a bath, and you can just watch Netflix. And luckily for us, it worked out. She was on one side of the room watching Netflix. I was in the bathtub living my best life, and they got to have their bro time, and everything worked out.
Well, we kind of did, but real quick, just to give it up to Shana though, like this girl had been a bitch to Shana and I the whole weekend.
She picked on me.
She was throwing shots.
Yeah, every chance that she could. I don't know what it was with this girl. I don't know what was going on, but like me and her were from different planets. On top of that, like we were just on different planes and different levels, and it was just a thing. And she just kept throwing shots at me, and I'm just like, I still stuck it out with this girl while they did their own thing. It was worth it for me because they needed their bro time.
Shots and backhanded compliments. Like, she had never met Shana, first off. And she's like, oh, you're a fashion designer? Like, so you just make clothes for fun or something? Mm-hmm. She would say shit like that. But then, like, Shana had finally showed her some of her work.
I was wearing something that I had created. And she's like, oh, that actually looks like something I would wear. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
So, meaning... she just thought that Shana was making a bunch of bullshit. Like, she's not making clothes people would actually wear.
Speaking of people we outgrow, she was the epitome of the people that I walked away from in the Midwest because they were the same exact way. Like, oh, you design costumes, you do fashion. Oh, that sounds cute. But I kept hearing that over and over again, and it didn't stop with this woman.
You want to throw shade at Shana for being self-employed and making money off her dreams and her hustles, but you just settled for $10 an hour at that factory that half the town works in. Even though you went to college, not a good college, mind you, because why I had beef with her. Quick story about that. Her and I went to different colleges. I went to a way better school than her, and she tried to flex on me at some house party. I hadn't seen this bitch in years, and she's like, "Oh, so where have you been lately?" I went to college in Florida. Where have you been? Well, I went to this local community, blah, 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 shit college. And I was like, oh, really? Long story short, I went to a better school than her, had a way better GPA than her, and I went on a scholarship. Screw you and your shitty degree that got you a job that you could have just dropped out of high school to do. So, bye, bitch.
Needless to say, this girl was on one. She was no friend of anyone's. She was just this sour, bitter person that we still had to respect because this is the person that his friend had
Get out of jail
married.
Free card.
He
Yes.
had just married.
Even though we were the only ones that showed up to their shotgun wedding.
Because she doesn't have any friends and she doesn't like
Exactly.
anyone and no one likes her. But anyway, regardless, it was his best friend's woman and we had to respect that.
We probably had 5 minutes apiece, and then she started blowing him up on his phone. What's taking you guys so long? We had a 12-minute walk to the closest liquor store to get beer.
Because she didn't want them to spend money on an Uber.
Yeah, so we had to walk and then walk back, but she blew him up 3 times within what was like maybe a half hour walk there and walk back. And we had to wait in line too. There was a long line at the store. We didn't even get done checking out. She called him again.
And I even tried to distract her. I even tried to go and talk to her and be like friendly and cordial after my extravagant bath experience. But yeah, I even tried to talk to her and she just did not hear it from me. She just did not want to hear it. And I'm like, I don't know what else to do, guys. Like, she's just not hearing it. She's a brick wall that I can't even customize.
Oh, yeah. Shana texted me and it was like, sorry, I tried.
Yeah, she was just a stone cold stunner, just not even listening to me.
Yep.
But we still had to respect her.
Yep.
We still had to do that.
Anyways, to bring it back to the point, my best friend and I, we outgrew each other. For better or for worse, we just had different visions in life. I still love this dude till this day. I try to call him when I can, but unfortunately, fast forward, he has 2 kids now, and he can't just be on the phone talking to me. He's not on social media. He goes to work, and then he comes home, and he watches his kids.
Yeah.
So whenever we get to talk, we get to talk. Like, he'll call me when he's free, but I haven't talked to this dude in months.
You guys just
Honestly.
live 2 different lives.
Yeah. In this case, we're still super tight. You know, we're still close. And anytime I pick up the phone, it's like nothing's ever changed.
And if he ever needs us to come and rescue him from his situation, guess who'll be there.
Oh, yeah. Low key, I'm going to come.
In case he sends a messenger hawk to our residence.
Exactly. Low key, it sounds messed up, but I'm like, bro, as soon as I make this money, I'm going to snatch you from your life. I'm going to pay for all the babysitters and nannies that have to be taken care of. I'm going to take you on the road with me. We're going to go and get this money. It's going to be me and you on the road like the good old days. And baby mama and the nannies can just watch them kids for a week or 2. But I'm going to come save you from your mundane life.
We'll send her a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. I'll pay her just to shut up. I'll pay her to let me have my boy back for a week. Wow, that sounds like prostitution in a way, but...
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, like, that's my boy before he met her, so whatever.
She going to have to deal with it.
That was my man first, bitch. Learn that. Just like Ray J, I hit it first. I mean, I didn't really hit it, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. Outgrowing people isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a natural progression in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a necessary step.
Yeah.
In a positive way.
Yeah, definitely.
You outgrow people. It's not always a positive experience.
No.
Sometimes you outgrow people because you're getting away from a toxic situation.
Yes. So throwing it back to one of the previous podcasts when I was talking about being on the reality show.
2 episodes ago.
About being on the cosplay contest show. The person I named there was Alyssa. And I had known her previously, and I had known her history with talking shit before, and that's just how that person was. And I knew that. Of course I knew that. Because she has talked shit about everybody, including myself. But at some point, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Because if you know you're like that and you openly admit that that's how you are and you still keep doing it and you still keep dealing with drama and that's just your life, I mean, eventually you're going to get a foot up your ass.
Yeah.
Not even going to start any, shit. I just want to put it out there. Like,
figuratively or literally, depending on if you cross the wrong person.
Yeah, if you cross the wrong person and had that person cross me at the wrong time, knowing her, you will get dealt with.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there who can't tolerate that, who won't tolerate that on top of that. And you still do it and you're proud of it. That's just who you are. That's not an excuse to be that kind of toxic person.
Yeah.
And I have refrained from getting in any kind of physical contact with this person because if that's just who you are, I've already written you off as being that kind of person. So I don't have to stoop to your level in being that way. I don't have to stoop to your level at all. So I just disregard it and let you be who you want to be. That's who you want to be, and that's who you will stay being if you don't want to change. And this person, unfortunately, will never change.
A lot of us make exemptions for toxic people in our life. It's like, oh, but we've been friends for years. That's just how they are. We get so comfortable giving people passes.
Yeah.
Oh, this person's a shit talker. That's just how they are. This person's a drunk. That's just how they are. Yeah, that's just how they are. But what a lot of people don't really think about is you don't have to accept that. Everyone's been young. Everyone's been naive at some point. You think because you are friends with someone that you have to remain friends with them. No, you don't. That's a big point I want to hit. Just because you've been friends with someone doesn't mean you have to remain friends with them. Just because you have history with someone, just because you've been friends for years, doesn't mean you can't wake up and realize how toxic someone is.
Yeah.
In your case, she's been in your life.
Yeah.
You know she's been talking shit about you. But then when you see her, she still wants to be like, oh, hi, what's up,
They still
Shana?
smile in your face, and that's what I don't like. I don't appreciate that at all.
And it's like, bitch, if you want to talk shit about me, then don't smile at me when you see me.
Exactly.
Let me know what it is.
Right.
That's on you if you want to live that fake life. Whatever. When you start to realize people are toxic in your life, you have a choice to still keep them in your life or not. I'll be the first to admit I have kept a lot of toxic people in my life. I gave people the pass because we've had history, we were friends, but at some point I too had to realize, no, I've had enough. Eventually there's certain people in your life who are just negative about everything, and now it's up to you to make a decision. They have laid their cards out on the table.
Right.
They have shown you that they're this big shit talker and all they're going to do is start drama, or they've laid out on the table. They're just, woe is me. I'm the victim of life.
Right.
I'm the victim of life. And you've seen that they're not a victim. Then it's left to you to be like, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm done with you because there's no one else to blame except you for your situations. A lot of us want to feel bad for these people or want to give them the pass because we have history. But then it ends up like pulling you down.
Right. You want to be on level ground with this person. You really do. Until they start taking accountability for their own actions, then they're just being fake and they're being toxic, and you don't need that in your life.
I have always been the type of person that if I have a problem with you and you one of my close friends, I will tell you about yourself. I've had meetings with certain friends that I felt have become toxic. I'm talking about we've met up for dinner. Be like, hey, I'm going to keep it real with you. You've been XYZ, and I don't like that. I don't care how you are with other people, but when it comes to me and my life, I don't appreciate all the dishonesty, all the shiciness. And I've told a couple friends that if these people are your friends, you should be able to tell them about themselves. If you want to remain being this toxic person in my life, I can't mess with you anymore.
Right.
It's up to you to either change for me so I don't see it, but I would love for you to change it for yourself.
Exactly.
If you want to be toxic, don't let me see it. if you want to keep our friendship the same. But if you still want to remain that way, then you and I can be cordial. I don't hate you. Respect for our relationship that we've had. But if you want to remain toxic, then I don't need you in my life.
But in my case, they just kept throwing and throwing and throwing at me, even in ways that they just don't understand. It's like, if you're already toxic, you're not going to think that you're saying toxic things or doing toxic things.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, you're always going to throw it back on the other person that you're initially throwing at. And it's not like me and this person were friends ever. We were never like friends on written paper. It was just
mutual acquaintances.
Right?
Yeah, with the con scene.
And I never really had a problem with that person because it was never like, I don't know, I just didn't really care at the time. But until you start just poking me and poking me and poking me to the point where I just can't take it anymore, especially if we're not friends like that, then I gotta let you go. I knew that's who she was and that's how she wanted to be. And she still to this day is that person. She openly admitted, and that's just who she is. And then just whatever. If you're gonna be like that, then I'm sorry, but I will see myself out of your door, out of your life. And I will never turn back to you. I will never talk to you again. You have the gift of a goodbye. I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, and that is a lesson a lot of people need to accept. Regardless of your history with somebody, if you feel that they're toxic or negative to your life, you need to walk away. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's nothing worth holding on to if you feel someone's been so toxic to you.
Yeah.
You can be cordial when you see each other. You don't have to punch a bitch in the pussy.
Even though some of us want to.
Yeah. I'll still be cordial. I'll say hi and what's up. But don't call me when you and your boyfriend have a problem. Or don't call me when you and your girlfriend are going through some issues. Because we ain't cool like that no more.
No.
They don't want to move on from your relationship. But you have obviously outgrown the relationship you have, so it's up to you to make a decision to leave.
Definitely. It's not like me and this person will ever be in the same room. We will never do the same things. We're on two different levels in life, obviously. And that's just the kind of person I don't want in my life, around me in any way. And there's never going to be a situation where we have to be in those situations. Thank goodness. You come to a point in your life where you have to let people go and you have to let certain circumstances go because it's never going to better your life personally, and it's never going to be any different.
And once people refuse to change, you have to be that change. You have to be the one that moves on. You have to outgrow them.
You have to be the bigger person and just walk away. You will always be true to yourself.
Yeah. We get so blinded by the history of friendship. It's hard enough for us to make friends, so we try to hold on to every little bit of friendship we have.
Definitely.
We also have to learn not every relationship we have in our life is good for us.
And not everybody has our best interests at heart. And we have to see that. We have to open our eyes to it because a lot of us out here will be who we want to be. And that's who you portray yourself as to the world. And we see it. And those of us who can see it can choose not to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that's the lesson I want to have for you guys.
Keep your circle small. I'd rather have 10 true ride or die homies than a million half-ass fake homies in my life.
And I'm not about the life of, keep your friends closer but your enemies closer. No, if you're an enemy, if you're somebody who's always picking at me, always saying something, always thinking that you're better than me or whatever, I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to keep you close at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go and do what you do best, being fake. And I have no room in my life for that. And to those of you who just live this life and that's just who you are, I have a message for you. You're not ruining anybody's life. You're not hindering anybody's career. You're not doing any good to that person's life. So don't come and step up to somebody who's let you go. Don't think that you can do anything negative to that person because they've already walked away from you and you can't do anything to bring that back.
Facts.
You can't. And for those people who think that way, you're sad. And I'm sad for you.
Just to piggyback off that point, don't let toxic people back in your life. Don't let them hit you with the, but we used to be this. We used to be that. Yeah, we used to be. That was back in the past. I used to scratch my butthole so hard and I'd sniff my finger and it stunk. But I don't do that no more. That was the old me. Don't let this person be the stinky finger that was up your butthole. If you take anything from the lesson I'm trying to... I can't even say this serious. 3, 2, 1. Reset, Renji. If you take anything from this toxic lecture, don't let this toxic person be that finger that you scratch so deep up your butthole that it smells that you want to sniff it. Don't sniff that finger. Do not sniff that finger when you scratch your ass. Remember this face.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. People may not remember the toxic words, but people will always remember, don't let this person be the stinky finger that was in your butthole. Take that with you. Fortune cookie wisdom for free. You're welcome.
I think what Renji is trying to say is, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You know who you are. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And ta-ta, good day, goodbye.
And just to everyone else that's been toxic, it's like, you're welcome that I tolerated you for so long, that I entertained your toxicity in my life. I'm grown, I know better, and now I'm moving on.
Exactly.
There's definitely people I still want to put hands on, including my best friend's fiance/wife.
Oh, yeah, she deserves it.
Ride or die, get out of jail free card. Until he divorces that bitch, I can't put a hit on her. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So if there's some lady goons out there that wants to punch a bitch in the face when the inevitable happens and my best friend divorces this bitch, hit me up. Because, oh man, this bitch needs to get her ass whooped. Not trying to condone violence, but...
Some people do. Some people do. Some people need a good ass whipping because that's all they're missing in their life. That's why they're toxic and let themselves be toxic all the time.
Sorry, but sometimes a bitch just needs her ass whooped.
Exactly.
Spiritually and physically.
Y'all need a good love and hip hop moment. That's all I'm saying. And I'm ready for my Jocelyn Hernandez Showtime moment.
Bang, bang.
Don't try me. Don't try
bang,
me.
bang.
Don't try me. Pow pow is more like it.
Pow pow.
Not bang bang.
Ooh,
pow
ooh,
pow.
Ooh, that's a safer word.
Mm-hmm.
Pow pow.
Don't do that because that's not going to be cute for anybody, especially you. Moving on. Moving on.
Oh man, that was a bit much.
Sometimes you just need to let it go. Let it out. Let it go. Let it air out a little bit.
Do yourself a favor. Just let it go. Sometimes y'all just gotta let it out. Yell into the universe so you expunge that negative energy.
Yeah, because some people just ain't worth it. I'm not about to get all scuffed up and scrappy for just one person who thinks that they're above everybody. And
yeah. So let's bring it back to the con world, right? One thing that I've been noticing is a lot of people feel that they're outgrowing the con life. Mm-hmm. Some want to view it as super negative. Some want to view it as a shit-talking moment. Mm-hmm. And I feel a type of way about that. Just because you've outgrown cons doesn't mean you get to shit on all the people that still enjoy it. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, cons and cosplay isn't for you anymore. That's fine. But that doesn't give you the right to be like, oh, you still go to cons? You're stupid. You're stupid. You're wasting your money. Mm-hmm. You're wasting your time. Then there are those people that left the con world, swore up and down that they're done with cosplays, they're done with conventions, but yet they keep inserting themselves and want to make you feel bad that you still go to cons. Mm-hmm. Bitch, if you left the con scene, be gone. Mm-hmm. Ain't no one faulting you from outgrowing it. We all outgrow things. Some of us used to like My Little Pony. Some of us grew to be bronies. That's cool. Mm-hmm. My Little Pony ain't for you. You ain't ready to be a brony. Whatever. Goes back to these people that used to cosplay or used to go to cons. Like, it irks me when people want to go out of their way to post constantly. I know people that have been out the con scene for years and yet can't help but talk about cons every couple months. Mm-hmm. It's like, sit your ass down. It's natural for people to outgrow cons. If you hit a moment in your life and you feel you've outgrown cosplay, it's cool. Take a break. It doesn't mean you have to disregard all the friends you've made. Mm-hmm. You can still keep those con friends even though you don't go to cons anymore. You've built that relationship. Why throw it away, right? Mm-hmm. Just because you don't cosplay anymore doesn't mean you can't reminisce on the fun times you've had.
Right.
It's okay to feel you've outgrown the cons or cosplay. What's not okay is for you just to act like you're too good for that life. It obviously played an important role in your life. I'm sure your parents used to talk about how they used to buy soda pop in the 50s for 10 cents and smoke cigarettes with Betsy Sue down at the sock hop. Look at them when they talk about those moments in their life. They're happy. They're like, oh, when I met your mother, I took her out for a date at the diner. It cost me $2. Don't you want to be that old man that looks back at your life was, I met your mom at a con. Have those memories. It's okay. You've outgrown it. You don't want to be like, yeah, I met your mom at a con. She was a stupid bitch in cosplay.
Exactly. Just being solely negative.
What sounds better, you know?
Yeah, because you could have outgrown going to conventions, but there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you had good times going to these things. You met people. You've done things in your life that you would have never done had you not been introduced to this community. And just like myself personally, like, there came a time where I got tired of going to conventions week after week, week but I still hold those amazing memories, and I still loved the different things within going to conventions, like cosplaying and, just being a nerd. Like, there's nothing wrong with it just because you left the community, just because you left going to conventions or whatever. You still have that, and you still have a piece of that in your heart that you will carry on for years and years after that.
Exactly. Like, you may not be super inspired to travel and do your 6-hour road trips to conventions anymore, but maybe if, like, your favorite local con comes around, you still may want to go. Or like myself, right? I still enjoy going to conventions, but I kind of got tired of cosplaying at conventions.
Yeah.
When I moved to LA, I loved being at conventions. I just hated cosplaying there. So for the first year or two, I barely cosplayed. I would go shoot video. I love shooting video. I found something new I enjoyed. I outgrew cosplaying at cons, but I found a new love in shooting video.
Right.
But then years gone by, now I'm enjoying cosplaying again. Just because you outgrow something doesn't mean you can't come back to it.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to your passions and cons. Toxic people, yes. You can outgrow them and move on because when you dig down deep, you never had a love for a toxic person. You just tolerated a toxic person. But a cosplay, something you love it, it's never going to go away. You may get kind of tired of it, or certain situations in your life may take priority, but that love never goes away.
Right.
We spoke about outgrowing people. We briefly spoke about outgrowing things we used to do. That's okay. There's so many things that we all used to be into that we don't have the passion or the time for. It doesn't mean you hate it all of a sudden. For example, I used to be so big into the car scene. I used to spend my money souping up my Honda Civic. I used to rice that bitch out. Big spoilers, rims that made no sense on a Honda freaking Civic. Ain't nobody care about that shit. Even the main cast members in Fast and Furious didn't soup up their Honda Civics. Except the first Fast and Furious, they used Honda Civics to heist the semi-trucks, but that wasn't their main car. Toretto wasn't driving Honda Civics for his main car.
Right.
Neither was Brian, all right? Anyways, I used to love the car scene. I used to love breakdancing. Y'all don't even know that, right?
That was back in the day.
That was back in the day. I still can appreciate a nice car. I still can appreciate badass B-boys. I love watching the Jabberwockies, for example, for mainstream B-boys, right? Just because I'm not as passionate anymore, just because I outgrew that culture, it's not my day-to-day, but I still love it. I still see it. I'm like, yo, that car is so dope. Or, yo, them Jabberwockies killed it. Them B-boys killed it. I used to watch America's Best Dance Crew week to week.
Me too.
I never posted about it. And I guess that's the point I was trying to hit about that whole con thing. It's just like, you can outgrow things, but doesn't mean you can't still enjoy it.
Right. And with me, I used to sit there and play video games all day long. If I wasn't on my PlayStation, I was on my Game Boy. If I wasn't on my Game Boy, I was out there playing board games and tabletops and everything. If I wasn't doing that, I was doing arcade games. Like, I was a gamer for life. Like,
yeah,
for
when
real,
the school
for real.
holidays hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was up in the streets just doing that all day long. If I wasn't doing that, I was playing Pokemon card games. Like, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Card games. I was doing all kinds of gaming. But because that's not my life anymore, it doesn't mean that I don't game from time to time and want to do that every now and again. Like, I do my live streaming on Twitch and I still game on there. But I have a balance in my life now where I'm just not at my screen playing all day long and blowing my money on arcade games all day long.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, like, you can still have a passion for something and still like something, but you don't have to do it all the time. And you don't have to find something negative in doing it just because you don't do it all the time.
It doesn't have to be your whole life.
It doesn't.
Oh, just speaking of video games, a good example, one of my best friends, Akumajin, the guy that got me into anime, the guy that had all the animes, right?
The infamous Akuma-jin.
Yeah. If y'all tune into my live stream, my boy Akumajin tunes in every now. No, not every now and. Actually, he's a ride or die. He tunes in every time I stream. Shout out to Akumajin for always being on my Twitch stream, and during the podcast live chat, he's always there.
Represent.
Speaking of the podcast live chat, every Thursday when we post these podcasts, we are chatting live. So if y'all tune in when it debuts, usually at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I messed up this last week and did it an hour earlier. But anyways, you can chat with us live just for a quick note. So y'all can interact with us while the podcast is airing. But anyways, fast forward to the present time. I'm up on all the new anime before he is. He still loves anime. Like, he went out to watch the Brawly movie. Akumajin doesn't leave home for anything. But he traveled 45 minutes to the nearest theater that played the Brawly movie. He still has his favorite animes, but he's not keeping up with all the new animes.
He's not bugging you at 4:30 in the morning for Sailor Moon.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean he doesn't like anime anymore. He'll still watch what he wants to watch, but he's not all up on it.
Yeah, and same for me. Like, when it comes to anime, there's not a lot of anime that I like. And nowadays, like, a lot of it's just, I don't know. I won't say too much about that, but a lot of it is not what I like anymore. But I still never forget the days when I used to just stay up watching Adult Swim until, starting with Samurai Champloo, Inuyasha, Bleach. I used to stay up all night to catch all of my my soaps.
Yeah.
My soaps at night.
Soaps.
That doesn't mean that I've lost that fire for the passion that I had for that, and that's the same thing that kept me off of the streets, and I never forget that, and I still have so many happy memories of watching anime.
I bet you used to stay up and watch them Chinese knockoff animes too, right?
No, I never got that far.
You never got that far?
Not the Chinese ones.
Oh
no.
my god, my ex, way back in the day, she got into some knockoff Chinese anime.
What?
I was like, wow.
I didn't see any of those.
I didn't even know China made anime, first off. But I don't know what the show was called, but there was this quote that had me dying. One of the main characters looked at this girl, and he said this. "Oh, you're so ugly. You give me nightmares. Get out of my presence."
Oh, what?
Whoa.
They're so rude.
Whoa, yeah.
So rude. What the hell? No, I've never been blessed enough to watch that.
Oh, no. She went that deep. And even her, just quick side, she outgrew anime. She stopped watching anime. Her and I worked out our differences, and we remained friends. And like a couple years later, when her and I talked, she's like, "So, do you still watch anime?" I was like, "Yeah, I love anime." Oh,
boy, do I.
I'm like, "I cosplay now." She's like, "Oh, yeah, you do cosplay, don't you?" And she's like, "I haven't watched anime since we broke up." I was like, "Oh, really?"
That's sad.
Well, you're missing out, you dumb bitch. Not to get out of that. Her life changed. She had kids shortly after we broke up, and she outgrew it too.
But it doesn't mean I've completely outgrown anime. It just means that they need to come up with something that I can can watch.
Yeah, because when something
be entertained by,
when something hits you, you still watch it.
Of course,
same.
I'm hooked just as much as I was the first day that I saw my first anime.
Yeah, and when a video game that I really am interested in, I'll stop life to play
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like I'm a big Resident Evil fan and Final Fantasy fan. For some of those that caught my live stream, when those games came out, y'all saw me live streaming like 3-4 days a week, and that's not normal for me because I don't even allow myself that much time to play video games anymore.
I feel bad the times that I play video games and he's just over here like hustling and doing his work, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna hustle and find this turnip and this build this house
Animal
really
Crossing.
quick. Yeah, I'm on Animal Crossing right now.
Animal Crossing
Yeah.
addictions.
Oh yeah, I'm currently trying to build up my island so it's a 5-star island. So that's where I'm at.
But if y'all got them turnip prices on log, you better hit Shana up and let her know.
I don't. I've stopped buying turnips because my prices have been so low to sell them back. So I'm just like, forget the turnips. I don't
And
even
funny thing about that is I used to play Animal Crossing on the original GameCube and I loved it.
GameCube? That was on GameCube?
Yeah, the original Animal Crossing was on GameCube.
I didn't know that.
People deemed it as a child's game, but I was loving it.
I wasn't always an Animal Crossing fan. It became a thing for me when they started introducing like the designer aspect of it, and this is the new generation and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm so excited to play it.
Anyways, now that we've totally digressed talking about Animal Crossing for no reason.
Turnips.
No, we're not talking about turnips, Shauna. Some of us are still waiting to get our own Nintendo Switches since they've sold out due to quarantine.
Some of us have real jobs. Whatever.
I've had a Nintendo Switch and I stopped playing since Zelda Breath of the Wild. So
that was a good game too.
I'm good on that. Anyways, back to what we're talking about. We're talking about just outgrowing people in our lives. I guess just to sum it up, because we kind of hit and I get a wrapping point of this podcast. We all hit a point in our life where we outgrow people. It's not always positive. It's not always negative. Sometimes it's natural progression. You have to outgrow people. If you remain in the same circles that hold you down, you're going to be a product of your environment.
Yeah.
They say surround yourself with people you want to be like for a reason.
Right.
If you're around successful people, go-getters, it makes you want to go get it.
Yeah.
You don't feel bad for not hanging out at Applebee's on Friday night.
Right.
Because you're trying to work on yourself. You're
Right.
trying to reach those goals. You're trying to get better. If you only hang out with people that want to sit around and do nothing, for lack of better words, then you're going to sit around and do nothing. You're going to feel bad that you're trying to do something and they're not. Ooh, that brings me to a point I forgot to mention. When you surround yourself with those kind of people, you want to do better for yourself. Those people can't be happy for you because, say y'all work at the same job. You're like, you know what? I'm not happy. I want more. I want more. I want more. And you're outgrowing this person. It makes them reflect on their life like, wait. This life isn't good enough for you. It's good enough for me. What, are you better than me? Then they start to feel a type of way. Then they start becoming toxic. Then they start telling you, yo, this job is the shit. What, you aren't happy with $10 an hour? No, bitch. I know someone that makes $30 an hour and he's the same age as us. Of course I'm not happy. If you never met this person that makes $30 an hour, for example, you would be happy with this $10 you are making. Not trying to diss people that make little money, but if you're not happy, you're not happy. That's the bottom line. And if you don't have someone, for example, that person that makes that $30 an hour to tell you, yo, you could be doing what I'm doing. We're the same age. We got the same experience. You don't have to settle for that. So if you're not ready to settle for that, then don't. And that's when you have to decide, are you really outgrowing this person because you want to be this person? And that's perfectly fine. Don't let this person...
There's nothing negative about that.
Don't let this person that wants to settle, that doesn't want to grow past what they have, hold you back.
There's nothing wrong for wanting more for yourself. And there's also nothing wrong with wanting to be around better company. If that person's already telling you, hey, I do this, that's just who I am. I'm just a toxic person. And they're telling you this. And you still go out of your way to talk to that person and still go out of your way to have that person in your life. You know, that's just who you're going to become at some point.
It may not be flat out like, hey, I'm toxic. It could be subtle things like someone not encouraging you to do more, someone telling you, oh, you're fine. I remember when I first moved to Chicago, I already had dreams of coming to LA.
Yeah.
I told everyone, I'm only here temporarily. A couple people were like, nah, dude, you're in Chicago. This is where it's at. No, this is where it's at for what you have envisioned for yourself.
Right.
What I want to do is not here.
Right.
I'm taking a job here to build my experience so I can move here.
Right.
It's those subtle things that people don't realize. That someone's like, nah, you don't need to do that. That's low-key toxic, and you may not realize that. Someone that's telling you, no, you don't need to do that for your dreams. This is good enough. But if you don't feel happy, then it's never good enough.
Right. Sometimes it's not about good or bad. It's about just different.
It's different.
It's just different.
And what's right for you.
Right.
You have to decide for yourself that you've outgrown this person. Obviously, that person's not going to tell you, oh, you deserve better. Just move on and leave me behind. The thing I've learned from moving from Michigan, moving from Chicago to LA. Oh, hell, I even lived in Florida for a part of my life. I didn't even mention that. A lot of y'all don't even know that. The hardest thing I had to learn for myself is people don't have your best interest in their hearts. Misery loves company. If someone's not doing well or not where they're at in their life, they're going to try to keep as many people at their level as they can.
Yep.
Why? Because when you do better than them and you're happy, it makes them reflect on their life that they're not happy. They weren't ready to outgrow their existence. They're in denial. You have to accept that you've outgrown them and commit to that and move forward. Do you agree?
I wholeheartedly 1,000% agree.
I'm glad, because then I don't feel that I'm just wearing this lavender shirt with this Domo Kun purple hat just talking shit for no reason. All right.
It's not shit talking if it's true.
I mean, I guess that was kind of the summary.
That was it.
Yeah.
Even though I can be petty at times.
No.
I won't be petty LaBelle tonight.
You've outgrown being
I've
petty.
outgrown being petty, and I've outgrown petty people, and I've outgrown certain aspects of my life.
Yeah.
And I choose to be above all of that.
You state the facts when you have to say them, and then you leave them there.
Facts are facts.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Like, if it's true, it's true.
All right, guys. With that said, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm Lavender Shirt Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella. Long hair, don't care.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.